Hello and welcome. This is episode 43 of the Wise Mind Fireside Chats, the Wi-Fi chats, and conversationalists today, Gabby Sheshlock, Brett Corcoran, Erika Nadeau, and myself, Alec Wells. Today we have decided to speak about this following sentence. There is no resilience without adversity to test it. People talk about resilience and I'm resilient, and then something happens, and then something else happens. Resilience, I'm saying, is not a fixed trait. It changes, it's dynamic, it's fluid. And we talk a lot these days about trauma growth and stress tolerance. And this is what I bring to the table. What are our views on any and all of those matters? Who wants to start us off?
I'm going to start us off by just defining the term. Let's just have a working definition of what the dictionary says resilience is and if it fits and lands for all of us, right? So it says resilience, the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties. Then it says toughness. Then definition number 2 says the ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape. It makes sense to me, I suppose.
And now you have your working definition. What do you think about that when the substance is a human being?
So I'm getting caught up on this idea that it's the ability to bounce back, right? What am I bouncing back from? Why am I not just handling and moving through? What bouncing back? I don't know that I'm digging that. I don't know that that's actually accurate for me. From my own experience, when I have been in life experiences that have been adverse or extremely challenging, my experience has not been one of bouncing back, because that would give me hints of returning to who I was before. Because for me, resilience is handling whatever has happened to you, working your way through it, and coming out a different version of who you were, right? It means not falling victim to it, meaning I'm not rolling up into a ball and drooling in the corner because this thing happened to me. I am handling it, I'm accepting it, I'm feeling it, and I'm deciding how I want to respond to it. And I'm going to be different and stronger, a different version of myself. I'm not bouncing back to anything. The old me before that happened is no longer. It's me with a different sense of how I'm going through.
I really like that because an experience has happened, and for whatever reason, there was some challenge slash adversity to it. To bounce back means to me to reach the same height. But if we only ever reach the same height, then we're not actually growing. And the difference that for me is that by going through adversity, our context changes, our ability to contain something else. You think of like a Coke bottle and it's full of pressure. Our ability to contain that pressure also grows without the risk to the actual bottle itself shattering or splitting. So, thinking that we're just returning to a place, and it also kind of suggests that that place was the optimal place or the best place, which isn't necessarily the case. We can be under an awful lot of pressure and be maintaining resilience, and it's actually a need to fork off and not be in that pressure situation and to live well in this branch that is the important part. Gabby, I see you nodding.
I actually like what you and Erica said. And to be quite honest, I have stopped using the term resilience for myself for that reason. I don't need to be resilient. So the new word I have chosen for me is equanimity. And I'm not even sure if I pronounce it the right way with my German accent. But equanimity is the art of staying calm and collected in a difficult situation without panicking, and then walking through that situation. Because what resilience also implies is that we go through a difficult situation and then it's solved and that's it. And that's often not the case. Because if you look at life circumstances, you could be diagnosed with a long-term illness, which is not going to go away, right? So what comes in there is not being just able to be resilient, but you have to stay calm. You have to make new decisions. You have to be adaptable, getting into the new life circumstances. Your life will change. Your habits will need to change. There's an awful lot coming with it. So to say, but I need to be resilient is actually not helpful, because there's a lot of other skills to it to be able to stay resilient, to speak. And that's why I don't like the word. And it is supposedly linked with bouncing back to something. I like equanimity for that reason, because it's just a state of being within a difficult situation.
And I think we orient ourselves to a new position. And I think a lot these days in terms of trauma, we don't revisit and look at something that happened. We look at where we are and how we move forward. It's like we mentioned in an earlier one, agency, community, connection. And those things take us to a very different place. So yes, we may have trauma growth. There may be things we actually realize that we don't need to get into this dysregulated state when the smoke alarm goes off or something else happens, a car horn honks or something like that. We hear emergency sirens. It was a personal problem for me for a very long time. But actually what we're doing is orienting ourselves. Is that for me? No, it's got nothing to do with me. Moving on or moving ourselves physically, because as we also mentioned in an earlier conversation, we get these physical reactions and then growing from it, having that new anchor. Actually, when that happened, I didn't need to react in that unhealthy way where I was looking for resilience. I'm now realizing that there's this other iteration of experience that is much more healthy. So someone's car alarm goes off, I don't startle and react. It's just, yeah, that's something in the background. We know that's not a threat. It's not one of those adrenalized reactions that needs to take place.
I think what you're really talking about is actually the ability to self-regulate. Why? Because we can only self-regulate in two areas, our emotions and our thinking. And that's what equanimity is for me, to be able to self-regulate in a situation and step back and reflect and see what I do, jump into action with what I can do. That's what it is for me. And the reason I came to that was I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 21. And I always thought, am I really resilient? I thought I was resilient. I was questioning it. And when it happened, it turned out it was. But I figured out very quickly, it's not really resilience. It was just this ability to stay calm and collected and regulate my emotions and regulate my thoughts without going into a panic stage or into an anxiety stage. Doesn't mean I wasn't worried. Of course, I was worried until I had the results. Has the cancer spread or not? That's natural. But it was a worry I accepted and waited for the results rather than what if and get into stress and anxiety and panic. So it's this self-regulation which helps. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's what people mean when they say, oh, you have to be resilient, it will be better, easier to get through. But I still on this bandwagon with resilience is actually the wrong word.
This is so interesting to me because I'm sitting here wondering, is resilience innate or can you teach it? Can it be a skill that is finely tuned and honed across your life? When I think of resilience, I'll just put it in my terms. It's sort of, I'll go through, there's no fucking way this is taking me out. I'm not letting this be the thing that takes me out. Nope, not happening. That's what resilience is to me. This is happening. This actually sucks. I hate that this is happening, but all right. So for me, resilience is a little bit of both. I think some of us come with a stronger sense of it, right? But it can be a honed skill. It's a choice. I think that it's a choice. It's a decision that you make. This has happened, and I can decide if I want to let it be what takes me out and leaves me laying in my bed for days, or if I'm going to say, you know what, I just need 5 minutes to sit in the shit of this, and then this isn't going to be what takes me out. I'm going to do whatever I have to do. If it's a physical thing, do I have to go to physical therapy? Do I have to go to whatever I have to do in the way that Gabby's explaining it in a very calm and methodical way, right? This is what's before me. This is what I have to do. When it's more emotionally based, it's the same kind of idea, acknowledging this is what just happened. This actually blows. And I hate that this happened, but now I get to decide how I want. Do I want to lay in bed for days, or do I want to just say, this sucks, but I can choose how I'm going to go through this? And then what does this all mean for me? How am I changing through this? And what do I want it to mean? It's a personal journey. And what am I going to be after this happens, right? What am I going to learn from this about myself? And how do I want to go through the rest of my life waiting for the next experience to happen for me?
And it's really important point that these are all personal. There is no benchmark of this is what resilience equates to that fits every person in every circumstance. We talk about overwhelm. From my perspective, overwhelm is the complete inability for us to function. It's a shutdown of nervous system, emotional regulation, or the hyper reaction. So we're thinking like fight, flight, freeze, flop, like you just described. Do I want to go and curl up for a couple of days? That is still a way of us trying to regulate these very strong emotions. So thinking that one size fits all for resilience is thinking it's got some kind of fixed level. Like I said at the outset, it's dynamic, it's changeable, it adapts. Everybody adapts in different ways. Some people's stress tolerance is way high before they're even considering any kind of reaction. Brett, any thoughts?
I'm just sitting here listening, and everybody's resilience is very personally oriented. It's very personal. It's their experience and how you move through it, Gabby, Erika, anybody. So it could be something so small, whether it's just getting fired or losing a job, and sometimes that's not even small, right? To losing a loved one, to having a car accident and having to come back. It's that ability to come back from that initial inrush of whatever it may be. How do I find a way to move through this overwhelming feeling? Because it's different for everybody. I don't think we can name exactly this is the process. So it's amazing because it's a matter of connecting to the feelings, what comes up for you, what's the thought pattern on moving forward, and it's awareness that you have all these different things. And then, wait a minute, I have control on how I go through this, right? We have to have that awareness, or I have to have the awareness that I have control on how I move through this. If I was told I can never walk again, I've seen people that have been told they can never walk again, and then they're running a marathon. Oh my God, what was going on in their head? Were they aware as to what was going on? Or was that just the way that individual is? Like, no, I'm not letting this take me out, right? And what do I need to do, Doc? All right, well, we're going to start here. And they're just pushing through all the stuff. Or I don't know. It's really amazing how it's very individually, everybody has a different piece of it and a different way of moving through it. But I think in connection with other people as you're going through something, it actually support you and get you through it in a more organized way. Some people may do it better on their own, right? So there's no right or wrong way. But I always feel like the community piece, having somebody to talk to and lean on is a healthy thing, because that's that community that you're going to have going forward. And as you age and all of that, right? So having somebody there, that person's going to know that you're going to be there for them, or you can let them know that you're going to be there for them as well. I think it can be built, right? If I wasn't aware, I can have somebody inspire me to do something, right? It's how we move through it and how we share with each other that the inspiration would come that might take me from giving up, laying in bed to, you know what? Wow, I feel that. I'm going to do this. And then, so I feel like it can be offered and we can support each other, just being there and holding the space and seeing what's going on and just being present and then finding a way to inspire. And it's going to be different for everybody. But I like to think that no matter where somebody is with the right person and the right getting out of your own way, that you will come into contact with somebody who will inspire you to want to get better because of XYZ. I want to see my son or daughter walk down the aisle. I want to walk them down the aisle if you couldn't walk. There's so many different things. It's amazing. I love seeing the stories of resilience and people being met with this traumatic or any kind of situation and then seeing how they move through it for me is amazing. I love seeing that because it's so inspiring that no matter how hard things are, if we take that moment to settle in to what's going on for us, that we can find the way to organize it, put it into place, hug it, care for it, whatever it may need, cry about it, right? Let it all out, and then pick up the pieces that need to be picked back up. And all right, this is coming with me. That can stay there. Now I'm driving forward, and this is where I'm headed. I think that's for me resilience, finding the way to drop some stuff, acknowledge it, right? But leave it behind and move forward with knowing where you want to be. Maybe you may not get there, depending upon the situation, right? But knowing where you want to be and striving toward it and being grateful no matter where you get to, but never stop in that direction, right? So this, I don't know, something about that in itself is what I love about resilience.
I think as you were speaking, to be resilient, I'm going to use the word, even though I'm understanding what Gabby's saying. There's a huge amount of regulation that plays a part in how successful you are at being resilient or not, right? It's the belief that you has to come first, I feel. Just that belief. I can do this. I can survive this. I can handle this. And you all know this of me, and I'm going to say it again. If I am not allowed that period of time to have whatever intense reaction I'm having before I'm expected to fucking carry on, I'm not going to be successful at being resilient. I need time to react and respond with intense, whatever emotion is coming as a result of this adverse thing that's happened. I need to feel that and then make the decision, dig deep into the belief that I can do this before I can carry on. That is the process for me personally. I think there's a really important piece that we're missing it, but that needs to be highlighted here, that resilience, this ability to regulate, a characteristic of this is people that show resilience greater than others have this quality of not being afraid of challenges either, right? Not shying away from scary or hard things is because you have this inner piece, this ability to tap into your resilience that allows you to take on things, knowing this is a risk, something bad might happen. It allows you to be open and vulnerable, opening your heart to possibly being hurt again and having to experience something adverse. I have resilience enough to know I'm willing to be vulnerable because I know that I'm going to be able to tap into that belief that I can overcome this. I can get through this. I'm not going to bounce back to anything. I'm going to move through it and become somebody else in the process.
Exactly. And think of the child in the playground that graduates to the big slide. They might occasionally go back down the little one, but generally speaking, they think of that as the little kid's slide. And they might have got to the top and they might have had a little bit of a shake and they might have needed coaxing over the edge. But once they've done the big slide once, they're running back round and up that slide, laughing and giggling. In terms of can we increase resilience and can we expose ourselves to challenges? Sure, everybody has to make their first skydive and they're probably going to be nervous before they do. But if you are someone who is a skydiver, you would have conquered that fear, that challenge, and you carry on and you improve and so on and so forth. But just to mention what you were speaking about, Erika, and Gabby mentioned, yes, we self-regulate, we have that awareness. We realize that there was an intense emotional, physical reaction, but then we also have our peers, as we are all together, who help us to come to terms with things. It's proven scientifically that if you are someone dysregulated and you're in the company of somebody using exactly Gabby's phrase with balance and equanimity, you will self-regulate better and quicker than if you're amongst other people who are all in a heightened nervous state. It's a little bit like putting a donkey in with racehorses. They calm the racehorses. And then we have community, Bessel van der Kolk, others, Levine, Porges, all said that being in community is one of those things. And then, of course, we can change our environment and we can be in connection with nature, we can be in a safer, calmer, gentler place. And all of these things help with that self-regulation. So there's a ton of stuff that goes into resilience that just cannot be described in that one little word, as Gabby said.
It's really important. Sorry, Gab.
Oh, no, go ahead.
There's just something that I feel like everybody needs to know, that resilience doesn't have to be immediate either, right? Just so for anybody out there who's feeling less than, or there's something wrong with them because they're facing a hardship and they're feeling it and not able to tap into that resilience right away, there's nothing wrong with you or that. You need time to feel it and then decide, I don't want to feel this. This has happened. I can't change it, but it's not an immediate response, right? So there's nothing wrong with you if something bad happened and you are immediately, it's okay, I got this. Like that's sometimes maybe not even a human response to do that. So I just wanted to get that out there, that there's nothing wrong with you if you're not immediately tapping into this mindset of, I can handle this. Allow yourself to feel it, and then you'll tap into it. That's all I wanted to say.
And Alec and Erika and Brett, everything you said, it's actually, because it's a vast subject. It's people talk about resilience, so it's one little thing. And I think you tapped really nicely in it, that it's a whole process coming along. And the other jigsaw puzzle to this process for me, and I want to give that to our listeners as a question. Because if you think about it, as older we grow, as more adversity we have experienced. It's like the little slide, Alec, you mentioned, right? We are so good to go through adversity. We're actually brilliant. And the reason why you're still alive and you're still here is because you went through all those adversity and you got through it. But we dismiss it. We don't actually see our own strength. And the same way we go in times of adversity to a trusted friend. And here's the question: do you trust yourself? If we don't trust ourselves, we will be in panic in adversity. If we trust ourselves because we know we did it a million times before, there was loads of adversity in our lives, we went through it, we're still here. For me, the big one was to learn to trust myself that I can do it.
It's like that. You've survived 100% of your worst days so far. What makes you think you can't handle this, right? It's just that simple message you give to yourself. I will handle this. It's okay. I'll get there. I will be able to handle this. I 100% agree with that. It's that we talked a couple episodes ago, that loyalty to yourself, that building that trust within yourself, knowing, do I want this shit to happen? No. But if it does happen, I'll handle it. I'm going to get through that too, just like everything else.
And as a species, we are hardwired to be resilient, to face hardships and adversity and come through them. We've been doing it for hundreds of thousands of years. And probably the biggest change is recognizing where in modernity, in this current world and life that we live in, the things that cause us to have adversities might look a little bit different, but the processes of growth through them haven't changed, and I'm fairly confident I can predict probably won't change for thousands of years.
It's the strength of the human spirit. You can't kill it. You can't. It's there. And if you're a human, you have it too. We all have it. It's just tapping into it and believing that it's there.
And if you're not human, you are equally welcome to our podcast. Please leave comments for Brett. He loves them.
Sure, but they're welcome to leave comments too. The human strength of the human spirit might go over their head, though. They might not understand what I mean.
Any closing thoughts from anyone?
I will say I'm glad to be human in the fact that I have the ability to be resilient, right? Because it allows me to experience life, which is a choice. We can choose to not experience it and sit at home and be safe, or we can be willing to be vulnerable and take risks, and knowing I carry my resilience with me. So let's experience life.
Looks like we're finishing it on an Erika mic drop. So thanks everybody for listening. All the contact details are in the comments below, and we will see you soon for another episode. Cheerio.